Faith moves us from the temporary to the eternal. From the temporary to the eternal. As I mentioned a moment ago, most people in the world, if they're trying to be religious at all, they're simply trying to obey the right set of rules and do the right rituals. But I'll mention one other thing about most people in the world. That's that most people primarily live for day-to-day living life now. That's all they ever think about. They never think beyond this life. Maybe occasionally they'll think about dying, but by and large, they're putting all their eggs in one basket, and that's the basket of my life right now here on earth. How can I make this life the best possible? How can I get the most out of this life? How can I be the happiest here on earth? And so the focus of the majority of people living in the world today is, how can I be happy now down here on planet Earth? But real faith doesn't think this way. Real faith makes the eternal, what's beyond this life, more real than the temporary. See, this world that we're living in is temporary. This world's not going to last forever. Okay? The Bible's very clear about this. And so let's just have a little wake-up call this morning. What we think is so great, so awesome, and so important, and someday it's going to all be changed when the King of Kings and Lord of Lords returns once again, establishes his kingdom, and there's a new heaven and a new earth. All this is going to change. It's not going to be like we see it now. There's something beyond this life. And faith lives with this mindset of, I'm down here on earth and I've got this life here now and I need to do the best that I can with it, be everything that God wants me to be. He has a plan for me here. But I'm not just living for what's happening now. I see beyond this world. I see another world, okay? I'm living for something beyond this life. And Abraham lived this way. He was not just living. He saw beyond just having a kid. He saw beyond just this moment when Isaac is going to be born and these promises are going to be fulfilled. In fact, the Bible is very clear that Abraham, his faith lifted him above this life. Hebrews chapter 11 describes it for us in verse 10. Abraham was confidently looking forward to a city with what kind of foundations? Eternal foundations, a city designed and built by God. And so Abraham, he sees the promised land, but he realizes it's a promised land, but that's the real promised land. Yes, there are promises for me now here, but there's something beyond this life to the next life. And I'm looking forward, to the city that might be built here. But what I'm really looking forward to is the city that has eternal foundations, that which is eternal.